feedback, and you get feedback from...
Mm-hmm.
I love the bank account one. That's so funny. Because even an impersonal thing can be feedback, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Everything in your life is feedback. Your bank account is feedback. Your relationships are feedback. Your body is feedback. Your body image. Your mental state is feedback. What people say about you and to you is feedback.
Okay, but here's the other part, is what we bring to that feedback. So how do we not
beat ourselves up?
Yeah, hear the wrong things. How do we hear?
You mean like, say somebody has a negative opinion of you and it's not your truth, but that's technically feedback because that's how they feel about you? Is that what you mean? And how do you not interpret that and take it personal?
Yeah, there's two different places from that. It's where the other person is coming from.
Uh-huh.
Are they coming at you with honesty and your best intentions, or are they being unkind and just coming,
Wow, you're right. And some people that they don't even recognize that they're being unkind because they're projecting, because that's what they really feel. Maybe you did something unintentional to hurt them and they're telling you that you're XYZ. But, that's feedback, and you can process it and, see how you can show up better next time. But it doesn't mean that you're not worthy of love or a bad person.
And their feedback isn't always truth.
Yeah, that's why you have to process it. And I think it's so important that, we do open up to feedback because, critical feedback from other people is how we recognize our blind spots and how we grow. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's unapplicable to our growth, and it may hinder you if you think about it too much. So I think that, using your inner compass of what feels right, and, is this person showing up and telling me this because they have an ulterior motive to control me or manipulate me or make me feel bad? Or is this person like really coming from a place of love and compassion to help me grow? I think it's all
the difference.
And like, it wasn't until recently that I've really learned about discernment, because it's like I just love people and I just like want everybody to be happy, and I just see, I try to see the good in all people, but sometimes I've realized that I've been taken advantage of, or not seen people and their agendas with me, or certain things that they wanted from me. I didn't see that, or the inauthenticity, because I would justify but I know they have a good heart or whatever. And so that's something to learn too when you're getting feedback from people, is using your discernment, like where are they coming from and what is their intention with what they just said,
And also, how am I approaching that? Because you know what? Too often we find ourselves self-critical, and whatever somebody says about us, we tend to hear the negative and not the positive. We tend to say, yeah, you're right, I'm a piece of crap. Somebody compliments us and we say, oh, no.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I know. Did you know something that totally on the other spectrum of feedback, when somebody gives you a compliment, did you know it's actually more about them than it is about you?
Oh, tell me more.
Because, okay, so think about this. So if you think someone's cute or they look good in a certain outfit, it's your perception of that person. So you compliment them by showing them your perception of them. And, it's a compliment where people think that, oh, you're just saying that to be nice, or they'll be like, they'll deflect your comment. Like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I literally took like 2 seconds to get ready today. I just jumped out of bed, or they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even brush my hair today. And you're like, dude, I just told you your hair looks great, and like I genuinely mean it. And they say no. Like, doesn't it make you feel good when somebody's like, wow, thank you so much?
Exactly.
So we need to do that more often too. Like, the good feedback, recognize it, accept it, and say thank you instead of deflecting it, because that person went out of their way to tell you a compliment.
And in a way, we're insulting their opinion, aren't we?
but we're all mirrors for each other. And so, if you feel that way, when somebody gives you a genuine compliment and you feel deflective of it, that's a moment to reflect on yourself and say, why do I not feel like I'm worthy of this compliment that this person just gave me? That's a moment to go within too, not just when people are telling you not the most positive feedback or giving you constructive feedback. If they give you a compliment and you can't receive it, that's another place where you can look internally and say, what's going on here, and why can't I accept this compliment, But practice makes perfect, so the more you do it, the easier it gets.
The other thing that's hard to learn is not to, for some reason, why is it that we believe what other people say more than what we know internally?
Trusting yourself.
Yeah, because somebody tells us something negative about ourselves, and we take it to heart. But we have to be able to, like you said, the word discernment is perfect. We have to be able to listen in an open way. But first of all, if we have our defenses up, then when we listen to it, we're going to take offense, or we're going to do this or that and miss the point, or miss something that we could grow from, and that's not a good thing either. You don't want to do that. Or we can, maybe they're saying something that's from their perspective that isn't in line with how we are.
True.
And so we need to make sure that we don't automatically say, if somebody else says something about me, they must be right.
Oh, 100%. You got to use that inner compass, your intuition. Like, if something doesn't feel right, you don't have to accept it. If something doesn't feel right, maybe this person's telling you everything that you want to hear, but your gut's telling you that they have an agenda or that there's something different. That's discernment and using your intuition. Or say they, they say something, you hurt me and you're this, that, and the other, and you didn't have any intention of making them feel that way. You can go within and say, like, I know where my intention was. I know where my center was. I literally had like no idea that would hurt them. You got to be your best friend in that moment too, and not take it to the grave. Take it
exactly
to personal, because everybody is on a different wavelength, and I love that.
Well, and sometimes their perception of us is not accurate too. So we can't take everything to heart when... Have you ever heard somebody give an opinion and you're thinking, you don't know me at all, do you?
Yeah, like you have no idea what I was saying. Yeah,
no,
because you can think about this too. Perception has so much to do with it. So discernment, and then understanding where the other person's perception of you and what that situation was. Because some people can have a completely different perception and perspective of... It's just like we talked about before. You can have two people that have an experience and they walk away with a completely different meaning.
Because they're bringing something different
Exactly.
to it.
So instead of assuming and taking offense or taking it personal or getting down on yourself, be inquisitive. Ask the person for clarity. Say, hey, so I don't want to assume, but this is, triggering something inside of me. Like, can you explain, like, what you meant by that, or what your perception of this was? Because that wasn't my intention, or that's not how I saw it. And it's communication and clarifying, because, people can say, like, don't care what other people think, just let them be in their own. But, like, if you want to have a deep connection with another human being, communication is the bridge. It bridges the gap and understanding, so you can, get to know each other on a deeper level. Because if you understand their perception of that situation that wasn't the same as yours, then you have more compassion for them, because you understand where they're coming from, and they understand where you're coming from, and there's more understanding and more love, and you just move forward, and it's just so much better.
You're so cute,
right?
Shell.
No, I just love love. Love is everything.
So cute, though. Oh, man.